Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Ed Walker, and you are listening to Black Helicopter Radio on the Antimatter Zone Radio Network. The websites are blogtalkradio.com/antimatterzone. My website is blackhelicopterradio.com. On this network, I also share this network with Jeffrey Grupp of antimatterradio.com and Jacob of the Next Step Radio program from infowarts.com, infowarts.com. And I will be doing a show for the next 90 minutes. Today's show is going to be pretty good. We're going to be hitting on something I actually haven't done a show specifically on, so that in itself I'm excited to do, this subject. And I'm actually going to be interviewing DJ Noriega of djnoriega.com. That's DJ, N as in Nancy, ORIEGA.com. And DJ Noriega is a DJ / producer and sound engineer. He actually made the music for The Industry Exposed, which is an internet series, theindustryexposed.com, which is one of the best things exposing the Illuminati I've seen online, and I really mean that. I've just seen stuff in there that just absolutely blows my mind. I have a clip actually from something they did, which you'll see is absolutely mind-blowing. We're going to be talking about the mainstream media and just the fact that it's completely controlled by the secret government and the Illuminati social engineers, and it's literally a weapon targeting people's souls. I mean that literally. I don't say that to sound sensational. And yeah, we're going to be talking with DJ Noriega. Actually, it looks like I have him on the line. So let me just first make sure I can get you on. Let's see, DJ Noriega, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here. How you doing?
Good.
Oh,
Thanks for joining me.
Good. How you doing?
Yeah, it's always a little sketchy doing, Blog Talk Radio. This is total do-it-yourself radio, so I always got to make sure things are working out okay.
Yeah.
So first, let me just ask, just talk about yourself, talk about how you got into music, talk about any, things that you think are important, regarding to your works. So yeah, just start from there, I guess.
All right. For people that don't know who I am, my name is DJ Noriega. I live in Paris, California. That's Southern California. I'm a DJ, producer / engineer. I've been DJing for, I would say, since I was about 14, 15 years old. I've been DJing, and I started producing around 20, 21, at the age of 20, 21. So I'm 29 now, but I've been doing it for that long, and, I love making music, DJing, and, doing that type of stuff. I'm also into, conspiracy theories and, ultimate truth seeker and, trying to do my research and look into all the hidden symbols and the hidden hand that, controls, the music industry and basically the world. So those are some of the things I like to put myself into, the music and, DJing and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, so, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, this is where we're at right now. I'm glad I was able to hook up with you and link up and kind of get this show going with you. So I appreciate for you having me on.
Oh, yeah, no, I found your stuff because you sent me a message, actually, promoting your videos. And at first I thought it was just a random, people do that. They just send music and things randomly. But then I checked out your song, and I was like, oh, okay, well, first off, I liked it. And then I went to your channel, and I was like, oh, man, this guy's not just your everyday, average person in the hip-hop. This guy's definitely a truth seeker. And and to be honest, I just need to say it straight up. I never was really I'm only recently, in like the past year or so, been actually listening to hip-hop and rap and things like that, because I was only exposed to the mainstream garbage that you hear on the radio and on MTV, the stuff that I absolutely despise. And so I just kind of assumed, this is really ignorant of me, I should have known better.
Mm-hmm.
But I just kind of assumed all music, all of it was kind of like that, just this kind of mind-numbing, despiritualizing, garbage, this weapon of the Illuminati. But I heard Gemini of Conspirituality. He's man, I don't know if you've heard him or not, but he's absolutely amazing, I think. And then I heard your stuff, and then I saw that you were associated with the Industry Exposed.
Yes.
And I mean, I should have known, because I've been playing in punk rock bands since I was like 15 years old. And punk rock and hip hop are actually more similar than a lot of people would think. I think because I know the music, people, you're probably thinking, what? It sounds, it sounds different, obviously, but the overall, the anti-establishment.
The culture. It's the culture,
Yeah, the culture.
Yeah, it's the culture,
so,
the fashion and, the trendsetters and stuff like that. I mean, you can see that right now with people wearing skinny jeans, with hip-hoppers. A lot of the punk rock people were wearing tight pants too, but they weren't calling them skinny jeans at the time. I don't know what, people just call them tight pants, But, now they call them skinny jeans and stuff, but you can see the similarities, with the punk rock and the hip-hop culture, and they're kind of combining that together right now with the rock and hip-hop as a fusion together. So,
I was a diehard punk rocker, metalhead. So I mean, I just didn't. The only thing is I didn't find the right hip hop till recently. I seriously thought it was just all like that. But now that I found it, man, I know. It's the same
there's
type of anti-establishment.
There's a lot of great underground artists out there. Especially a lot of people that I've recently got in contact with that I never heard of. Because when I first started DJing and actually just growing up, listening to music and stuff like that, I listened to all kinds of stuff, but I wasn't too deep into the underground scene. I was just, okay, I'm bumping Snoop Dogg and Too Short and all these other West Coast artists, and that's what I grew up on. My older brothers, that's what they listened to, and that's what was put on to me. So growing up and DJing, that's all the records I would buy was just, hip-hop, R&B, the club stuff. It's basically everything top 40, everything that you would hear on the radio and you would hear at the clubs. That's the type of stuff I would buy at the record stores. But you can see the change in that now because even in my area, there's no more record stores, Like, they're becoming obsolete. Everything's like MP3s online, Serato, you get all these whack-ass DJs pretending to be DJs, who never carried crates in their whole life, carried records, carrying equipment, and they come into the scene and just carrying a backpack and two records and, think they're DJs. I'm not saying they're not good at all. I'm just saying compared to the old school cats, you have to put in work, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of these cats don't know a lot of the true roots of DJing, and where they come from and how much work goes into carrying your stuff here, unloading, loading, and now you can just walk around with the backpack and go walk into a club and call yourself a DJ and, play off your iTunes or whatnot. So it's kind of a shame, though. But that's just the way technology is moving and everything's shifting. So I kind of have to adapt to it in a sense because I have that Serato myself. It just kind of sits here. The only time I ever use it is in the studio. I probably use it maybe a few times when I do DJ gigs, but, I'm still not familiar with that. I've had that thing for probably about 2 years now, and, I still love taking my records with me. I got all my records and stuff like that, but I still like that feel of going through the crates, you know what I'm saying, pulling out a record, looking at it, searching for the stuff, instead of clicking on your computer, type in the search button and look for your song that you want. It's not the same compared to just having that piece of vinyl in your hands and like, okay, by the end of the night, your fingers are all black and stuff from just digging to the crates and stuff like that. So, you can see the.
No, that's
yeah.
No, that's a good point because I haven't mentioned it that much on the show actually, but I record the music on my for the intros like what we heard. I do cover songs, but I have a few originals too. But it's even rock music is doing that, man. It's getting so overproduced. It's I really like the raw, just plugging in a guitar, amp, drums, bass. I love that raw, just it doesn't have to be overproduced. A lot of the drums, triggered drum sets, which is basically like which is cool. If people are into that, whatever. I'm just not. I like the really raw. It's which is like the equivalent to what you're saying of actually having the records and everything. With DJing, the same kind of
exactly.
idea.
Even too with producing. You got a lot of new producers out there. I'm not knocking any producers or any DJs that are out there. I respect all of them for what they do. They got a lot of talent. But there's a lot of even new producers are coming out that, they just get a couple of things and a couple of software programs and, I'm sorry. There's a lot of, people that just, kind of get into the scene because it's kind of trendy in a sense. They see it on TV. It's everywhere. DJing, becoming a rapper. It's on Sprite commercials. You got Drake and all these different people who are influencing all these different these younger kids, into into the culture in a sense, but I don't know. It's just things are changing, you know, and in a sense, they're kind of changing for the worse. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to say, trying to you know, scare people, but you can kind of see the shift in of the way the music is going. You know what I'm saying? And the culture and the dressing. Everybody's changing their clothes. Everybody's looking like girls. You know what I'm saying? With the clothes that they're wearing.
No, you're right. Yeah.
You know, I mean, but then we got to look at, okay, who's designing these clothes? You know what I'm saying? Who are the designer of these clothes, and what do they represent? You know, why are they putting out these specific clothes? Because they control all aspects of the music industry and basically the whole world. So they could put these type of trends into the to the population and see what happens. You know, when people started, you know, like when Kanye West, you know, started doing or Puff Daddy started doing his little was it Mr. T kind of haircut? You know, they kind of just, you know, like a faux hawk kind of, you know, that kind of style. You know, when they started doing that, then you start seeing everybody doing it. You know what I'm saying? You walk out of the streets, you go to the mall, everybody's having these different type of styles of haircuts because they see that on TV and they hear, you know, they see that on the music videos. So they think it's trendy and they follow that, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people just don't know how to be individuals and just kind of be themselves.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah. So. Yeah, let me, before, I just want to get this at the start of the show, because since we're talking about music, let me actually play a clip. DJ Noriega sent me a bunch of his tracks, which were all really good, but what I did was I put like a bunch of them together, like I think 5 or 6 of the tracks he sent me, into short little segments. So it's kind of like a preview of a bunch of the stuff he did. I saved the one I liked the best. Yeah, I saved the one I liked. The one you did I thought was just absolutely epic was the dark. You just called it dark. You know, you just had the kind of generic names. The kind of dark sounding one. It sounds like a movie soundtrack.
I just named it like that because it's just, you know, usually the way I name my music is just through numbers. Like, you know, beat 100 something or beat 1,000, you know, whatever number that one song I did. So I try to, you know, name it at least a little bit because usually the song won't have a name until we usually get an artist on the song and then, you know, then we'll title it that way. But, yeah, but, you know.
All right, here, let me, let's play it. It's pretty short. It's only like a little shorter than 3 minutes. So here.
Okay.
Here we go, guys. This is DJ Noriega. There's a bunch of different tracks. It's a wide variety. I purposely did like the different kind of styles that you do. So here we go.
Okay.
Okay, I thought I had the dark one in there. I don't know why, if there's a glitch. But anyways, there's a good chunk of them. But I mean, people, you can hear it. I mean, I was checking out the industry exposed videos before we started, and I mean, those are your tracks, correct?
Yeah, those are my tracks. I probably didn't start working with them into the series probably until like, I don't know, probably part 50 something, or probably in this. I don't know what part he's in right now, but yeah, I didn't start working with him probably until the middle of his series, because I started watching the series from the beginning when I first got into it, and you know, I liked what he did and how he, you know, put everything together and kind of showed you, you know, all the hidden symbols, and it's like, okay, everything made sense. And so I've been watching the series for quite a while, and I kind of was like, hey man, you know, I want to get involved and kind of do my own part, you know, with, you know, helping them somehow. And got in contact with them, and he was like, yeah man, shoot me some beats, and you know, we'll post them up and stuff. So I've been working with him ever since, and it's been amazing, you know, to see some of the great stuff that he's put out, and for him to use my music, it's wonderful. So thank you, Bill. If you're out there listening, I appreciate for all the work you've done, man. You got a lot of good spirit. You got a good spirit, man. So keep up the good work.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. So, you know, there's a lot of people out there, you know, who, you know, kind of bash some of the stuff that we do, but I mean, don't worry about them. Just keep doing what you're doing, and I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully we can wake up some more people with some of these videos and interviews that we're doing. So.
Well, they bash it because they know they listen to all of this mainstream garbage, and they don't like the fact that we're pointing out that it's totally brainwashing them. You know.
Oh yeah,
it offends them.
Yeah, it throws them off their, you know, kind of like, whoa, hold on, that's not true. Well, hold on, you're going off the deep end with that. You know, they kind of like throw them out of their comfort zone. You know, they get comfortable with what they're listening to, and as soon as you throw them a little subliminal message to them and tell you, hey man, check out this, and like, whoa, hold on. This is going on. I'm like, yeah, it's going on. You know, you gotta kind of open your eyes, and it's not even just open your eyes. It's just really, it's just because it's in plain view. You know, it's in everything. It's in commercials. It's in movies. It's in videos. So I think it's once you could identify those symbols, you know, you could spot them in everything. I mean, everything. I'm talking about even kid commercials, even kid cartoons. I mean, it's in everything. So it kind of it throws it off though for me. Like if I'm watching a movie or listening to a song or something, I can't hear it the way I used to hear it, or watch it the way I used to watch it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I'm always looking for something, or I'm always like, you know, oh, this has to do with that, or you know, so you know, it kind of messes me up. But not even that, just being a sound engineer. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, if I'm watching a movie, if a sound effect happens and they use a sound effect, and if it's panned out to the left, but it was supposed to be in the right side of the speaker, you know what I'm saying? And you know, I catch on to those type of things, so that kind of throws it off too, being a sound engineer. So, but it's all right though.
Let me play this clip from, actually, it's a short clip I took from the Industry Exposed. It talks about how art is actually magic. This is Alan Moore, who did V for Vendetta, and he did a bunch of awesome work. But he talks about, I mean, he spells it out pretty well, and it's a pretty short clip, and yeah, it's only like 2 or 3 minutes, but let me play this because this is actually goes into what you're saying of how it's all just totally, you know, drenched with the mainstream music and everything. So let me just play this real quick.
Okay.
There is some confusion as to what magic actually is. I think that this can be cleared up if you just look at the very earliest descriptions of magic. Magic, in its earliest form, is often referred to as the art. I believe that this is completely literal. I believe that magic is art, and that art, whether that be writing, music, sculpture, or any other form, is literally magic. Art is, like magic, the science of manipulating symbols, words or images, to achieve changes in consciousness. The very language of magic seems to be talking as much about writing or art as it is about supernatural events. A grimoire, for example, the Book of Spells, is simply a fancy way of saying grammar. Indeed, to cast a spell is simply to spell, to manipulate words, to change people's consciousness. And I believe that this is why an artist or writer is the closest thing in the contemporary world that you are likely to see to a shaman.
Yeah, that was Alan Moore, and he's talking about just like how I said, how it's literally a weapon, you know, charging. It's literally manipulating you. Music is so powerful. People do not even realize what this music is doing to them. It's like music, you know, they've done studies. It can literally change. It can change your heart rate. It can change your brain waves. It's like a powerful drug. So all these people are consuming some of the most mindless, you know, just dumb, horrible music. Yeah, I have no qualms with, you know, calling out, you know, mainstream pop music for what it is. It is absolutely talentless garbage. They do not promote, you know, the talented hip-hop artists like I know, you know. They promote the people that they know they can manipulate, the people that'll, you know, do anything for money, that will be pushed around and sell their souls. Because I'm sure you work with, you know, underground, you know, hip-hop artists, or, you know, whatever kind of artist they may be, whatever genre. And I'm sure you know that it's not about talent, because I'm sure you work with people that are far more talented than some of the mainstream people out there.
Yeah, it's not about talent. It's just basically it's about being in the right position at the right time and giving in to them. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like every pop artist, every rap singer, I mean every R&B singer or rap artist, you know, is manipulating everybody, you know, with their music and stuff. I mean, you got to look at the people that are on the top 40 and see what they're doing, and see the people down and below. They haven't gave in yet, you know what I'm saying? The people that are on top kind of, you know, the Illuminati is only going to reach out for certain people that they want to initiate, you know what I'm saying? And the people on the top are the ones who have been initiated. Maybe not in their early career, but later on in the career, after they saw, okay, this guy's moving a lot of units, he has this much influence, okay, let's get at him and let's see if we can infiltrate and see if we could have him shift his, you know, his whole mindset and kind of get him to lure, you know, more people in. Just like, for instance, Jay-Z. You know, Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, Kanye West. Who else? I mean, damn, there's so many damn people, you know what I'm saying?
Lady Gaga.
I mean, sorry. There's so many people that, you know, we can name, but really when you're talking about, you know, the vibration level and how it affects people's, you know, way of living in a sense, you know, it's a lot of it's negative demonic frequency. You know what I'm saying? The lower chakra. That's where they want to, you know, influence us is at that lower chakra. That's why we get a lot of that bass music, you know, low bass and kind of those 808s and stuff like that. And so that stuff has a lot of I'm sorry, I'm trying to read my notes here. I wrote down.
No, it's okay. Actually, let me just hit on that point then, just real quick. You said it's trying to manipulate the chakra, and it's kind of demonic. I want to get your opinion. I have no idea what you think about this. What about someone posted on my YouTube channel? They're saying how what's it called? Auto-tune. They believe auto-tune is literally it's just like you said. It's actually specific frequencies, specifically manipulating your mind. You know, using these melodies. Auto-tune is a part of that as well. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's basically shifting the human being into a human robot. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of, we're going into that, you know, technology era where everything's robots. I mean, if you could see it in everything, it's in commercials and in their music videos. But the person that we have to look at it, who's pushing this forward, is the auto-tune is what's his name? T-Pain. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because he's the one that's pushing it out. I mean, he was the first one to bring it out as far as the auto-tune. Now we go back to the talk box. That was Zapp from Zapp and Roger. You know what I'm saying? And that was totally different. You know what I'm saying? That was with a talk box. It wasn't even auto-tune. Auto-tune is just a plug-in that you install on your computer software. And that's not even close to what he was doing, you know, with the machine that he was working with. But the auto-tune, like you said, it's just kind of like a shift in how would you say it, the way people are speaking, in a sense. Like everything that they do now is auto-tune. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
If a person can't sing, then okay, we'll just throw auto-tune on it and we'll fix it like that. It's like, hold on, you know what I'm saying? What happened to real people that could really sing? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And now T-Pain can't sing for nothing. I mean, I heard him one time on, what was it, VH1, I think. He was doing a show, and he didn't have his he didn't have that auto-tune, you know, preset on his mic when he was doing his show, so you got to really hear his real voice. Man, it was terrible. I'm like, I'm like, oh my God. I mean, how come people don't really see that he's not really a good artist? I mean, yeah, he's pushing records and you know, he's making great money and he's doing all that, but really he's just influencing a lot of people. And it looks like a clown because if you look at the way he's dressing, right? You know, with the top hat, and he kind of looks like what would you say, a jester or yeah, there you go. You know what I'm saying? Someone is just like put in the front of the stage, just kind of hypnotize everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Yeah, so I take it you're not a fan of autotune then. You're not a fan of that.
I'm not a fan of autotune, and the funny thing is that I just upgraded my software for my recording studio to the new Cubase 5. That's the software that I use, and it comes with autotune built in. And people, you know, the autotune's been out for about a few years now, but I never wanted it. You know, I have friends that had that plug-in. I was just like, I'll stay away from that. But I got the what do I have? I got the talk box, which is the original machine that they were using. Like I was telling you, Zapp and Roger and Peter Frampton used to use it too when he was, you know, when he would be on stage with his guitar. That's what he was using. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? When he was, you know, doing his thing, that's what he was using. He was using the talk box. So totally different machines. So.
I was just gonna say, actually, I'm just for people. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people listening do know what autotune is, but if you don't know what autotune is, okay, I'm sure you've probably heard it. Even if you don't listen to it, it's been used in commercials. Autotune is it's a like audio processor that uses it like some sort of software or something to correct pitch and vocals. And I know Cher used it, and she, you know, it has that kind of robotic sound when you hear someone singing. It's like you know, I'm not going to try to do an impression of it, but it just totally. I mean, they can auto-tune anything now. So I could literally be talking right now. Someone could take this clip and then make it sound like a song, but a very robotic-sounding fake auto-tune song. So music is getting so plastic with auto-tune. It's getting just more. You know, they're sucking the talent out of it more and more every day, and it's so sad to see because I mean, I love music and I just know there's so many great underground, you know, artists out there who are not getting the recognition they deserve. And the people that are up on the top are the people that keep you dumb, keep you just despiritualized, keep you just, you know, distracted with these stupid bells and whistles. And, you know, 'cause when you look at someone, I have to get into Tupac on this show. Okay. Like a lot of people are excited. They've been sending me stuff about Tupac. And, man, it's just when you look at what he was saying and what he was promoting, it is the polar opposite of a lot of the mainstream artists today. He was empowering people. He was he was speaking out against corruption. He was telling people. He was straight from the heart. So I think there's no doubt in my mind he was killed by the Illuminati. What is your opinion on Tupac?
Well, this is just my opinion. So I'm not gonna, you know, put out facts. What I'm gonna be telling you. So this is just my opinion. What I think what happened to him. I do think he was murdered by the Illuminati. You know, he was getting too close. Obviously, he was doing too many. He had too much of an influence on the people. Yep. And his message, what he was doing, was bringing people's spirits back up. Like, okay, there's hope for us. You know what I'm saying? You know, we're living in dirt and grime, but there's still hope for us. And what happened is they started noticing that, and not just that. Okay, what happened is he got invited to Quincy Jones' house, and I guess Quincy Jones, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Quincy Jones. He's a famous music producer. He used to produce Michael Jackson. And he's really deep into the Illuminati. People might not know that, but, I mean, if you're in the music industry, you know, especially for that long, you have to belong to an order of some type, you know, whether it be Freemasons or whatever other secret societies that there is out there. But he would always have, I guess, these sex parties, you know, because in Hollywood, I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff that goes on, but he would always have these sex parties, and he invited Tupac to come over one time, and Tupac was kind of feeling his daughter, you know, they were kind of into each other or whatnot, and Quincy Jones pulled Tupac to the side and asked him to, you know, to F him in the backside, and, you know, basically do stuff that men are not supposed to be doing with each other, you know, and he wasn't down for that. So Quincy Jones kind of took that as disrespect, and not just that, but just for the fact that he was trying to get at his daughter, and that he, say, okay, I'm not gonna be down with that. I'm gonna stay away from that. So that was kind of like, okay, I see where you're at, and it made him upset. So that might be a reason why he was taken out, not just for that specific reason, but that could be one of the key issues why he was taken out, because he was, getting people angry in the music industry. And some of his movies that he brought out as well weren't even put out yet. I mean, he made two movies, I think, or one movie, Gridlock or something like that, before he died, and they pulled that movie and they didn't even put it out yet until after his death, because they knew that something was going to happen to him, and they wanted to wait until after his death so they could get more, everything's going to be more popular. I mean, when he died, CD sales, everything just blew up for him. And they knew that. So they wanted to use that. And, that's just that. He was talking about, about the government and he was always in the public eye. He had a lot of influence. So they knew that. So I think, that they probably did do that. So, I mean, really we don't know exactly for sure. This is just my opinion. So I think they did do that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it just seems so obvious that they did.
It seems, the more I research it, the more I think, because you need to look in retrospect. This is when hip hop was getting, just bigger and bigger to where, where it is today. And he would have, he was huge, and he got, like you said, he did explode even more after he got killed. But if you look at his message versus some of the other people out there, his message was empowering. First off, you listen to his lyrics, it did not make you feel like, just like partying and drinking, and it was like he really had deep ideas, and he was fiercely intelligent. First off, you see interviews with him, and he is just like he is just sharp, man. And I just think there's no doubt in my mind that he was silenced, because if you look at your average teenager today, and back then too. This has been for a long time. And who has a bigger influence in their life? Some philosopher, intellectual politician, or do they look up to music icons? They look up to music icons. Yeah, that's what shapes people. That's what has a way, way bigger impact on the vast majority of people's lives. Music.
I wanted to point something out too. I don't know if your listeners are aware of Professor Griff. He's ex-member of the group Public Enemy, late '80s, early '90s group that came out back in the day. He was saying, I watched a lot of his interviews and stuff like that. He was saying that Tupac was murdered was a ritual. It was a sacrifice, because Suge Knight, Damien Dash, Irv Gotti, and Jay Prince all got together, and we're going to put up all their money up and start their own distribution company, a black-owned distribution company. And when the higher-ups found out about that, they didn't like that. So what happened is they infiltrated all of their offices and started putting all these minor or fake charges on these guys. And in order for them to keep going forward in the music industry, they had to sacrifice somebody within their camp. For instance, if we talk about Suge Knight, he was sacrificing Tupac. Then we'd look at Damon Dash. He had to sacrifice Aaliyah, which was his fiancée at the time. Yeah, which is his fiancée at the time. And then Irv Gotti had to sacrifice what was it? Ashanti. But see, she didn't die, but she got out before that was going to happen, but she was selected to be in part of that ritual. And then we look at Jay Prince with Rap-A-Lot Records, and who else was it? Jay Prince and Pimp C. He was murdered too. They found him in his hotel room, OD'd on drugs. But prior to that, he was talking out against a lot of these rappers who were homosexual and who were fake rappers, who were living in these mansions, having all this money, but they were fake. They were just, studio gangsters or studio, artists that were just put there to keep the agenda going. And but this is just, I'm just going over what Professor Griff was saying. So this is, I'm not saying this is 100% fact, but it does make a lot of sense. And if you look at a lot of not just rappers and stuff. If you look at like Michael Jordan, he lost his father through a murder. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, his dad got murdered. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, that was a coincidence, and then like Bill Cosby, he lost his son, right? And then if you got Jennifer Hudson,
Yep.
she lost her whole family. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, once you get to that point and they lure you in, you have no choice, and then, either you have to make, well, if you don't give in to what they want you to do, then you pay the ultimate price. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think let me go back to Suge Knight real quick. When they infiltrated him, he ended up, who was it? Okay, this Jewish woman. Her name was Lara Leva. She owns Death Row Records now. She owns the whole catalog. She bought the whole catalog for I think $25 million. I think. I forgot how much money. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Oh yeah, about $25 million. That's how much she spent to buy out Death Row Records. She owns the whole catalog. She owns all the Tupac's, everything that was through Death Row. She owns all of that. A Jewish woman. So Suge Knight doesn't even own none of that anymore. They took that from him. But they still have him there. You know what I'm saying? It's like people are like, well, he lost, Tupac, and he don't have his company, but he still has money. You know what I'm saying? He still has money, and he's still doing what he's doing because he's still a part of that elite. You know what I'm saying? That elite club. So
the insiders, the club. Yep.
Exactly, it's the insiders. And then when I was talking about Damon Dash, Jay-Z was the one that ratted out. He ratted out all these guys here. He's the one that told the higher-ups, hey, these guys are going to start a black distribution company. You got to check this out, and that's what happened. They did, and they infiltrated all of their offices. I don't know if you remember at the time when Irv Gotti got arrested and, they started penning all these I'm sorry, I forgot the word, but they started nailing him with all these different things. It was hello? You still there?
Hi.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got cut off right there. Okay, damn, where am I at here? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to go through my notes.
No, it's all right. If you find it, one thing I've noticed when you look at Jay-Z, and I mean, it is so in your face, blatantly obvious. You look at Jay-Z and someone like Lady Gaga, some of the biggest artists right now, they have some of the most blatant occult symbolism, Masonic symbolisms. Jay-Z, I mean, it's absolutely everywhere. I have a picture on my desktop or on my computer right now of I believe it looks like 50 Cent with a hat with a pyramid, the all-seeing eye. I mean, it's just I know part of it is because it is kind of like a fashion statement, but it's more than that. I mean, especially I don't know if you've seen that video Alejandro by Lady Gaga, and it is like the most blatant. It is such a I've never seen so much blatant Illuminati, Masonic, even say it's pretty demonic looking imagery in one video.
It's Satanism.
It's
Luciferian. I mean, really, when we get down to it, that's what it is. It's Satanism. And the crazy part is, I was online yesterday, and I didn't realize Jay-Z just came out with a new book called Decoded. It came out, yesterday. It came out yesterday. It's called Decoded. And you have to look at the front cover. I mean, it tells you it shows you exactly what he represents, which is Satanism.
I'll check it out right now.
Yeah, check it out. It's kind of I forgot what they would call those type of that type of artwork. But if you look at in the middle of the drawing, you can see the bafflement within the picture.
Oh man, yeah.
You see that?
No, I know what you mean. I can't think of the name either. It's like a ink print type drawing. Yeah, that's crazy.
You know how you would put, you would draw one thing and then you would smash it together, and then you would open it up and you would have a two-sided drawing, whatever you drew, but you would have both sides. That's exactly what he was using. Kind of like that movie Watchmen. I don't know if you ever seen that movie Watchmen, where the guy with the, he's got this whatever he has covered. He has this, this cloth or whatever is covering his face, but his face is actually that same drawing that you're seeing that's on Jay-Z's new book. It's like that, but it moves more around when he's talking and stuff like that. But that's similar to what I'm talking about for people who are out there and who've seen that movie. But really, I mean, that goes to show you right there, he's down with the Illuminati. He's down with Luciferianism, and it shows you right there in his on the cover of his new book. And the new book is called Decoded. and it came out yesterday, I believe. So you got
That
to go
is
check that out.
creepy. Yeah,
That is
and
creepy.
you just think, okay, think of all the people that are totally clueless about the Illuminati and everything that are going to read that, and it's just totally indoctrinating them, and you know, they all have no idea what they're getting into, man. They use this brainwashing. And it's funny you mentioned The Watchmen, because that was actually made by, I played that clip of Alan Moore. He made that movie, so he knows all about the Illuminati symbology and all that stuff. So
oh yeah,
pretty
they
crazy,
got
but yeah.
tons of Illuminati symbols in that movie. Watchmen, I mean, everything. I mean, you know, I'm not gonna explain the movie, but people who have watched it and who know what to look for, I mean, I'm pretty sure they've seen all those symbols in that movie. But yeah, man, it's crazy. I mean, Lady Gaga, I think she's probably the worst one right now. Besides Jay-Z, she's probably the worst one who's putting it out there a lot more than everybody else. I mean, and especially with her fashion and her hand gestures, and you know, she covers the one eye, and then she does the
the one eye. Yeah.
Yeah, she does the 666s, which is, people normally think it's the OK symbol, but it's not. It's actually 666. You know what I'm saying? That's why you see a lot of, even in, you know, 80s movies or early 90s people, you know, movies, you'll see people throwing up that symbol, but really it doesn't mean, oh, okay, you know, I'm okay, you know, no, it means 666. And she does that a lot. You know, she'll do that same symbol and cover it with one eye. She'll put the, you know, the O right around her eye to symbolize the eye of Lucifer, the all-seeing eye of Horus, however you want to call it.
Yeah, here, let me read some Tupac lyrics right now just to show that, like, how crazy, I mean, like, he knew what he was talking. These are a song, it's called Resist the Temptation. It's, wouldn't be the first to leave the ghetto in a hearse, and oh, how it hurts. The children pay the biggest price, never get the chance to grow up with a happy life. Blame it on the rock, but we know that's a bunch of crap. Someone's at the top supplying us with much crack. Keep them in a daze, don't let them see the other way. Let them all get paid, won't live to see another day. See, they never got a breath of sunshine. Now the kid's addicted and only hit it one time. We are destined to be dead as a nation. Don't let it come to this. Resist the temptation. So that was like an anti-crack song, and he's talking about how this government's supplying the crack. I mean, they knew, they had to silence him, man.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, then you got to think about who was bringing in that crack and the cocaine and stuff. You got to look at like Bill Clinton. You know, when he was I think, was he governor or senator from
Alabama?
Governor, right?
Yeah,
No,
Alabama.
Arkansas.
Yep.
Arkansas.
Oh, sorry, Arkansas. Yeah, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Arkansas.
And they owned an airport there. I don't know if he owned it, but you know, he had access to an airport there. So they were doing, and at that time he still hooked up to this day with Bush Sr. And at that time they were using that airport to bring in all the cocaine into the country. And then what they would do is the CIA would give it to all these, you know, gangsters and, you know, people that are on the streets to distribute it. So a lot of people, you know, if you see documentaries now and, you know, the war on drugs and where it comes from, they'll be like, oh, it's the gangs that are bringing it in. No, it's not the gangs. It's the CIA. It's the higher-ups who are pushing that forward. You know what I'm saying? So you really can't blame the people for, you know, not being fully aware of what's going on, because they're kind of caught up in the mix. You know, how can they resist when there's so much that's being pushed forward onto them? You know, with TV,
they're being
commercials,
bombarded.
Food. Yeah, it's kind of hard to dodge a lot of these negativities, these negative things that are going around us, but that's why me or you are here, to kind of help people out and kind of get them to see the light and you know, kind of have their own, give them a chance to do their own research and kind of, you know, figure it out for themselves. Because once they get somebody to kind of, you know, give, you know, they pull that little thorn out of their head and they, oh my God, that's going on. Like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Then they start doing their own research, and next thing you know, they come back to me and be like, oh my God, do you know this is going on? I'm like, oh, okay, you're doing your research now. So, you know, that's always good to see and hear that people are waking up. At least the people that I've talked to, the people that I shared my information to, are coming around and starting to wake up and starting to doing their own research and stuff now. So that's good.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to show them some of the really hardcore, easy to kind of prove stuff. Like, for example, one thing I've been doing lately is, anyone can do this. It takes 2 seconds. You go online. You go to Wikipedia, because, you know, people trust, for some reason, they trust Wikipedia because it's a big name, Google. Go on Wikipedia. All you search is REX, Rex 84. hit enter, Rex 84, and it says Rex 84, short for Readiness Exercise 1984, is a contingency plan developed by the United States federal government to suspend the United States Constitution, declare martial law, place military commanders in charge of state and local governments, and detain large numbers of American citizens who are deemed to be national security threats. So that's right, straight up, right there. You can see they have these crazy plans that most people don't know about. So, I mean, it's just amazing. People, I think a lot of it, people just don't want to see it because they're afraid that once they open that door, it's Pandora's box. That the world's not going to be the same for them.
Oh, it's not going to be the same for them because, like you said, it's going to take them out of their comfort zone. And people are too comfortable. They love their entertainment, and they love their American Idol. They want nobody messing with it. So, but oh well. You know what I'm saying? Wake up. It's time to wake up, and I'm gonna do whatever I can to push forward, my agenda, which is to wake people up. I'm not gonna say I'm trying to save the world or do that, but I am gonna do my part. You know what I'm saying? So now it's up to other people to do their part, with helping out. So, but yeah, there's so much going on. I mean, let's look at Jay-Z again. I mean, if you look at some of his old, well, not too old. I think one of his recent videos. I think it was with Kanye. I forgot the name of the song. But he had the sweater on. It's called, and it says, "Do what thou wilt."
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you ever.
Crowley, like Aleister Crowley.
Yeah, that's Aleister Crowley. So people who don't know who Aleister Crowley is, he was the founder of the OTO. I believe it's the OTO,
yep.
and Order of the Golden Dawn, which was. Back in,
he was a hardcore Satanist, and actually, he was kind of ironic.
The wickedest man on earth. That's what they call him.
Some people in the Truth movement, Michael Tazarian, amazingly, actually like Crowley, which I do not know how you could say. That guy was sick, man. He would write about how to get the most energy out of a satanic ritual would be to use a young child. I mean, that's a famous quote. He really wrote that, talking about sacrificing children.
Yeah.
And so Jay-Z is associating with that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. He's, because, like you said, Aleister Crowley, what he said, one of his famous quotes is, "Do what thou wilt will be the whole of the law." Basically saying, do what you want. There ain't gonna be no consequences for it. Just do whatever do whatever you want, and don't worry about it. Everything's gonna be okay. And Jay-Z is using that same quote. You know what I'm saying? And he's putting that on his video. So how many people you think are watching that, who are subliminally getting mind controlled by just those few words that are on his sweater? Next thing you know, you're going to see people on the street wearing those same sweaters. Do what thou wilt. And they're not even going to know where that came from. You know what I'm saying? They don't even know where it came from.
They'll just think it sounds cool. Like, do whatever I want. I don't care about anyone. It's like, no, that came from a hardcore Satanist who was into, child worship, and it was this hardcore drug-addicted Satanist. But so since you produce music and things like that, do you talk to any like people who've gotten chances to do big record deals, but they can't? I mean, will the big record companies not let them rap about things like exposing the Illuminati and stuff, or do they not really care?
You know what? I mean, I've met a lot of different artists and some people that gone a little further than most, but I don't think they been approached. You know what I'm saying? I think you really have to get way up there and have a really major influence on people for them to approach you, to have you initiated either into Freemasonry or into another secret society. I'm not saying that all Freemasons are dark or are bad, but because the lower Freemasons in our local areas and stuff, they don't know what's going on. They're on a different degree of level of thinking. With the higher degree of that you go up, the more you know, because it's more enlightenment. The higher you go, the more light you're given, basically, and knowledge. Knowledge. So I don't know. It's pretty scary.
Let me put up.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, let me just put. I realize I got to get better at this. The call out number for the show is area code 347-327-9278. Area code 347-327-9278. One thing, I put some clips on here talking about John Lennon, who is no doubt also in a similar fashion. He's actually a lot of similarities to Tupac. He got people to think. He was definitely killed by the Illuminati. He really I mean, there was FBI files on him. The FBI was watching him. So, I mean, there's pretty concrete evidence he was, you know, assassinated by the Illuminati. But let me play this cool. I have this clip from Lennon right here talking about overpopulation. And back then, it's amazing because now you hear people talking about overpopulation, and you'd think it's fairly new phenomenon, but they've actually been talking about that for a while. So let me just play that clip. It's really short. It's like less than 2 minutes. Just
Okay.
Repeat it.
I want to know how you, as a woman, feel about overpopulation in the world and its relation to polluting the environment.
How does Yoko feel about overpopulation? As a woman, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem is not overpopulation as people believe to be, but it's more of a balance of things. What, you know, like food, some part of the world there's wastage of food, and in some parts, you know, nobody has food. That kind of a balance, if that is solved, I don't think we would be worried so much about overpopulation.
I think it's a bit of a joke the way people have made this overpopulation thing into a kind of myth. I don't really believe it, you know. I think whatever happens will balance itself out and work itself out. And it's all right for us all living saying, oh, well, there's enough of us, so we won't have any more. Don't let anybody else live. I don't believe in that. I think we've got enough food and money to feed everybody. And I think the natural balance, even though old people will last longer, I'm sure there's enough room for us, and some of them can go to the moon anyway.
You mean you think there's enough, if it were
I don't believe overpopulation, you know. I think that's just a kind of myth that government has thrown out to keep your mind off Vietnam and Ireland and all the important subjects.
Oh, I think you're wrong about that.
Oh, I don't care.
Yes.
So yeah, that was John Lennon. Let me go to this caller. I have a caller, area code 707. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up, Ed?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. This is B Wood from the chat.
Oh, nice. Hey, doing good this night?
Yeah. I play music, as you know, and I know you play music too. And I just wondered about the stories that DJ Noriega was getting, how he confirmed that they're true. Like the story with Quincy Jones and Tupac at that party. What source and how did you verify this source? And the same story, the other stories too that you were telling.
Okay. That's why I was trying to clarify to everybody. This is just my opinion, and the information that I was getting was from Professor Griff. So if you want to look at that a little bit more into depth, you can go on YouTube or Google Professor Griff, and he'll lay it out for you. I mean, if anybody that knows more about the music industry, it would be him, because he's been in it for, the last 20, 30 years. And he's been to the matching parties. He's been behind the scenes. He knows all these artists, and he puts them out on blast. He tells it straight up. He tells it how it is and the truth. And what makes it a little bit more credible is that he's been attacked already. His house burned down recently. He even said that it was done by the Illuminati. They burned his house down. His phone calls are being tapped. His emails, everything's being, looked at. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going by what he says, and it makes a little bit more sense to me as far as what he's saying. I mean, it makes a lot more sense because if you look at not the facts, I'm not going to say they're facts. I'm just going to look at some of the evidence, coincidences, and you put the pieces together and like, okay, that kind of makes sense. I mean, I can see that. Why would that be? But then you got to think at the level that these higher ups are on. I mean, these people are really sick people. Why wouldn't they sacrifice these type of people? I mean, John F. Kennedy was assassinated, and that was a ritual in itself. You know what I'm saying? And Martin Luther King was assassinated. That was a ritual in itself as well too. So these things really do go on, but this is just my opinion and the stuff that I looked into. So the only thing I can tell the people is do your own research and you'll come to your own conclusion. That's all I have to say on that. So
I'll send it back you up.
Okay. Actually, I think
no, you can finish it.
Okay. Damn, what was I gonna say? Go back on. I'm sorry. I forgot what I was gonna say. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just gonna say I've heard similar allegations with things with. I mean, wasn't that what Tupac was arrested for? Something similar to what you're talking about, right? The whole thing with this girl saying I don't want to get into graphic details, but basically he's being accused of sexual assault or something or other, which I mean, there was like absolutely no evidence of it. It's totally, just a false thing because they were trying to shut him up and put him in prison. So, no, that story actually makes sense, when you look at even the mainstream reports to what they were trying to get, with Tupac and, at these parties. And, yeah, so it's really similar to actually the mainstream account. So it's not too hard to believe.
Well, you mean, like I said, if you want evidence, look at Pimp C. He died in a hotel room, supposedly of he died from an overdose on drugs. I don't buy that. You know what I'm saying? Because prior to that, he was on stage going against the Illuminati and these people that are in the music industry that are pushing forward the agenda to keep people into a certain state, and they knew that. So Jay Prince had to do what he had to do to silence him and keep his business going, so they can all make money, because it's all about money at the end. It's all about money and control. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, money and power.
Money and power.
B-Wood, what did you think about that, though, B-Wood?
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't doubt any of that. I'm just trying to get to the specifics of the information of what you got. But actually, what do you think about the Michael Jackson death? Do you think that's also in correspondence?
Oh yeah, just look at the day he died. If you want to get really into detail, once you add up the day that he died, the date, add those numbers together, because they use specific days to do certain rituals, between, like if you want to go to winter solstice and summer solstice, they'll do certain things on those specific days because they have to do a ritual to keep, whatever energy level that they need to be at. But Michael Jackson, see, he knew what was going on too, because prior to his death, he started going against Sony. He started calling Jimmy Iovine a devil. I think, was it Jimmy Iovine? No, Jimmy Iovine's from Interscope, I'm sorry. But he started calling the head of Sony a devil, literally. When he was doing his press conferences, he was like, this guy's a devil, da-da-da-da, this and this and that. So they wanted to silence him. Even with the doctor that was giving him all the, the medicine for him to stay well, whatever, when he was sick, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't add up. And even his death, the day that he died, and the whole news media just being on it and kind of manipulating everything. So if you're watching the news and you're kind of, using that as your way for answers, that's always not a good idea. You know what I'm saying? I usually take what they're telling me on TV and kind of twist it around a little bit, because usually that always works for me. Whatever they tell me, I kind of like put it into the opposite, and it always turns out to be, the right way for me, and it works that way. So, I hope I answered your questions. If you need any more, I could give you, I'll give you my email, and I can send you some links and stuff to kind of help you out and kind of show you exactly which way to go into looking into more of these rituals and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, maybe you can post that in the link, Ed, or a link in the chat.
Yeah, I can do that.
Also,
he's DJ Noriega. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, do you notice any bloodlines in the entertainment industry that kind of connect to that too?
I would think so. You know what I'm saying? Look at Obama. He's bloodline too. I think his mother was Mary Vincian, I think, or something like that. But these people's bloodlines have been going so far back. I would think to like beginning of time. At least the beginning of human civilization. That's how far back it's been going. These people have been ruling the world for the longest time. These kings and queens. And if you want to look more into that, as far as these certain groups, they call themselves Committee 300 and what was it, the 13th? I don't know. I forgot the name of it. But
the 13 Bloodlines of the Illuminati.
Yeah, the 13 Bloodlines of the Illuminati. Who wrote that? That's Bloodlines of the Illuminati.
Fritz Springmeier.
There you go, Fritz Springmeier. Exactly.
That guy's awesome.
Yeah, it's too bad didn't he get jailed or something like that?
Actually, it's funny you mention that. He got in prison for totally false charges. Like, they straight up silenced him. There's no doubt in my mind. But he actually got released really recently. But he's in a halfway house now. But hey, B-Wood, I will here. First off, let me just give you. Actually, this is good. I need to give out DJ Noriega's information for the listeners. So I'm talking with DJ Noriega. DJNoriega.com is the website. DJ Noriega, Noriega with an N as in Nancy, O-R-I-E-G-A, DJNoriega.com. His YouTube channel is youtube.com/DJ Noriega. Correct?
Yes, that's.
Or is it,
Yeah,
or is it DJ Noriega ENT?
No, it's DJNoriega.com, and then my YouTube is youtube.com/Noriega ENT. ENT stands for entertainment.
That's right.
Short. And then MySpace, same thing, Noriega ENT. You just Google me, Google DJ Noriega, you'll find all my my videos, my music, and my sites.
You have some really, and I'm not just saying this because, like I said, I've only recently been into hip hop, and you have some really good music on there. I really liked the one, "My Crazy Life." I don't remember the name of the rapper, but that song was really catchy.
Oh yeah, Eduardo. He's from France.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a really talented artist. Hopefully he gets back out here again, probably next time, next year soon. Hopefully. Yeah, the name of the song is called Mi Vida Loca. It's on. If you guys are looking, actually, you guys could go on iTunes, and I have that song as a ringtone for your iPhones. If anybody wants to get that, you can also get the Studio Sessions Volume 2, which has that song on the album. That's on iTunes as well. But hopefully you guys got all the sites, so you guys come
yeah, I'm
come check
posting
it out.
them in the chat room right now.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Post them right now for DJ Noriega.
I just want to say I'm sorry if I'm not speaking well, or I'm just kind of nervous.
You're fine.
I never really do interviews at all, so kind of get a little nervous when I'm talking to people that I never talked to, and especially with this topic, I want to make sure I say the right things and I'm saying it clearly enough for people to understand.
No, this is great. This is awesome. Yeah, you got a good understanding of all this. So, anyways, Biwa, is there anything else you wanted to bring up? You've had great questions so far.
No, just actually, DJ Noriega, you should come back to this Antimatter Radio. It's a really good show. There's other stuff that you'd really be interested in, other topics that they discuss. And I'm going to post a link to my YouTube channel, my band, in the chat. And I really liked the clips you played of your DJ stuff in the beginning. It was
cool.
Original, awesome. It kind of had an old school feel, but it had a definite soul groove. I liked it.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, anytime, man. Yeah, like I said, go on my YouTube channel. You can find all my albums and stuff that I've done with all these different artists. I mean, you could go on there and listen to any one of my songs. You could download some songs too, I believe. You could download it, I think, on there. I'm not sure if you can or not, but yeah, man, I appreciate it, man. I mean, I'm gonna try to do my best and just keep pushing forward this agenda and keep doing my music. That's all I can do right now,
Yep, me too. I'm right there with you.
Cool. Well, thanks for calling in, Biwa. I'll keep in touch with you for sure.
All right. Yeah, take care, guys.
All right, you too, man.
Talk to you later. Bye. Yeah, he's a listener. He started his own blog talk show too. So make sure you post all that in the chat room, Biwa. So let me get back into John Lennon. We got around just 20 minutes left, and so John Lennon, I have one. Okay, this is the last clip I'm going to play, and trust me, this is a good one. This one is it's a clip. It's only like 3 or 4 minutes. It's called John Lennon versus the New World Order, and he just spells out everything just so well, and you can just totally see why they would have assassinated a person like him promoting peace. So this is the last clip I will play, and just listen to it, DJ Noriega. I think you'll like it a lot. Just one second.
John, could you please tell us what the situation is with you and you're entering the United States?
A lot of people don't want me in, They think I'm going to cause a violent revolution, which I'm not. And the others don't want me in because they don't want me to cause peace either, Because peace is big. War is big business, and they like war because it keeps them fat and happy. And I'm anti-war, so they're trying to keep me out, but I'll get in. Because they'll have to own up in public that they're against peace,
What can we, as the youth of Toronto, what can we do to try and help you?
Help me by helping yourselves, and the militant revolutionaries, ask them to show you one revolution that turned out to be what it promised militantly. take Russia, France, anywhere they're at it. What they do is they smash the place down, then they build it up again, and the people that build it up hang on to it. And then they become the establishment. Now you guys are going to be the establishment in a few years. It's not worth knocking it down because it's convenient to have the rooms and the machinery. The thing is to protest non-violently. Because violence begets violence, you know, and if you run around wild, you get smacked, and that's it, you know, that's the laws of the universe. And they've got all the weapons, they've got all the money, and they know how to fight violence because they've been doing it for thousands of years, suppressing us. And the only thing they don't know about is non-violence and humour. And there's many ways of promoting peace. Do everything for peace. Piss for peace, or smile for peace, or go to school for peace, or don't go to school for peace. Whatever you do, just do it for peace. You know? It's up to the people. You can't blame it on the government and say they're doing this, they're going to put us into war. We put them there, and we allow it. You know, and we can change it. If we really want to change it, we can change it.
What about Paul, Ringo, George?
We're all four individuals, and George is saying to me, George is doing it in his own way, with the way he goes about his life. It's no good shouting on the street, calling out, I want peace, and then beating up your mates, you know. You've got to try and work your own head out, you know, and get non-violent. It's pretty hard, because we're all violent inside. We're all Hitler inside, and we're all Christ inside. And it's just to try and work on the good bit of it.
Like I read in a paper that, you know, everyone seems to think that George is the nice guitarist and stuff like that. Like I'm not too keen on George. I like him and everything like that, but yeah, I have a feeling, you know, that they're just sort of drifting away from people. You're still like sort of like a symbol, you know, the Beatles, like God, stuff like that. But no one in school, like if you ask them who's your favorite group, they'll say the Bee Gees, you know. Like, I'll ask them, why don't you like the Beatles? You know, they're fantastic, they're great, etc. And they'll say because, like, for example, the marijuana charges, they're all hippies, and they're gone from us, they're dirty now.
Oh, I see. Well, those kids, they sound like Son of Square. They just got to get from under their parents' wings, you know.
I know, they're like robots, you know. Like, once I just got this feeling, you know, out of your double LP after I was listening to it for a long time. I started getting this feeling that there's a message in it, you know?
Yeah, messages are there on all levels, in all music. On whatever level you get it on, I've had it too when I wrote it or sang it. But some of that stuff, I write it, record it, and play it, and I don't hear it till a few months later, and I'm lying down with it, saying, I'll listen to the Beatles album and try and hear it in retrospect and not objectively. And it's about everything. So it's about UK, it's about USSR, and it's about nothing, it's about USA. But anything you hear is there. You know, it's all there. Either trivia or profound whatever. It's all there, you know. And the same as in a flower. Everything's there. You know, it just is, and if you look long enough, all
Yeah, that's pretty much the clip. That's a classic clip right there. He's talking about, you know, they don't like him because they think he's going to cause a revolution. But I've noticed that the Illuminati tends to kill. It's not really based so much on the person's political ideology. It's based on if they think they can, if the person, you know, whether it's a civil rights leader like Martin Luther King or if it's a musical icon like Tupac or John Lennon. It's based on whether if they think that person can have a profound impact on the average person out there, which they can, and you know, they kill those people, or they just don't, you know, promote them, you know, some of the upstarts. But if they get too big, they kill them, and then they promote all the people that just promote, you know, decadence and just being a moron and just, you know, it's so sad, really, when you just look at mainstream music and how it just seems to be getting worse and worse each year, in my opinion, anyways.
Yeah, it is. It's getting really, really bad. I mean, who knows what the music's going to sound with another 10 years from now, or the language that they're going to be speaking, you know, because my kids are going to be listening to that music, you know. I mean, I can prevent it from happening now, but eventually they're going to, you know, they're going to become their own adults, you know, become adults, and they're going to want to listen to whatever they want to listen to, and that's what they're going to be listening to, garbage, you know. And it's, I don't know, it's just sad that has to happen, but, you know, I mean, really, what can we do about it, you know? But
yeah, I
wanted to point something out about John Lennon. I don't know if you ever heard about this theory about Paul is dead, about Paul McCartney not being the real Paul McCartney that we see today?
Oh, no, I haven't.
A good series you should look at is The Rotten Apple. It goes in really good detail on how that could be a good theory and why that might be true. Even their music too. I mean, if you look at the early Beatles stuff, and I mean, they were doing a lot of magic and sorcery and putting a lot of hidden messages in their music. I mean, same thing with Led Zeppelin. You know how you can reverse the record and kind of hear a hidden message within the song. The Beatles were doing the same thing. When you look at their hand gestures, they're throwing up the bafflement. I think it was what album cover it was. It was Yellow Submarine. I think it was that.
Was it with Aleister Crowley?
Yeah. Well, no, that's Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts.
Yeah.
Album. That one has a lot of symbols in it too in itself. But I mean, so we gotta look at that too, because I mean, they might have got rid of John Lennon after he probably woke up or decided like he couldn't take this anymore, because I think once he realized that Paul wasn't really who that guy was, he kind of got out of the mix. After a few years, he kind of like, I think I'm just gonna get out of the mix. But I think for your listeners, they should go to The Rotten Apple on YouTube. I think it's the name of the series. It's Rotten Apple. I think it goes in really good detail that can make this theory be really true. I mean, a lot of the the records they put out and the press conferences that were going on back then, they were even talking about it back then. People, when John Lennon got interviewed, I forgot what show it was, but he was with Yoko, and one of the members in the audience asked him, he's like, hey, do you believe that Paul McCartney is dead and da-da-da? He said, well, I forgot what he said, but, they were talking about it back then, so we don't know about it now because we're living in our generation. But back then, they were talking about that, disc jockeys, were talking about it. Even musicians made songs about it, about Paul being dead and, this and this and that. So I think that'd be a good thing to look at, for your listeners. Check it out.
Oh yeah, I'll check that out for sure. I looked it up as you're talking. So when people search, you just search, like you said, The Rotten Apple. It says Paul is dead. That's The Rotten Apple, and there's a bunch of parts to it. I've never heard that. That's completely different.
Yeah, I think the best channel to go to for that is I think I Am a Phony. I think that's the channel on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I Am a Phony. Okay, yeah, that's the one right there. Yeah, you guys go on that one. I'm telling you, it's gonna blow your mind. It's like, whoa, hold on, I never knew about that. About even them, the news even talking about that, or the newspapers putting it out there. So even their music videos, I think there's a Strawberry Fields. I think that's the name of the song. There's a video when they made that video, because the theory is that Paul McCartney died in a car accident. I think when they kind of like after they did I think 4 or 5 years on tour or whatever, however long they were on tour and stuff, and they took a break, and during that break, supposedly Paul McCartney had died in a car accident. So if you look at, and during that time they switched him out with this phony guy who looked like him, but not just because he looked like him, they actually reconstructed his face to look even more similar to like Paul McCartney, and he sang better than the original Paul McCartney. So everything was better for him, and the rest of the group knew that. You know what I'm saying? And you can hear that a lot in the music, in the early stuff. And I kind of think that's why John Lennon kind of like pushed himself away from that group, and kind of just took off with Yoko Ono, because a lot of people say Yoko Ono is the reason why the band, why they broke up.
Yeah.
Maybe that might be true. Maybe it's just because he was fed up and he didn't want to be a part of that, what was going on behind the closed doors, in a sense. And he knew a lot of information. That's probably one of the reasons why they took him out too. Maybe they were afraid that he was going to spill the beans.
Yeah, I think actually I agree with that. I think he initially kind of was in on it, and he was kind of working for the system, but then he started to see, oh man, this is ugly. He could see the inside of it, and he still had a conscience, I guess. And then going into all this stuff with possibly Paul being killed, and then he just said, I'm not going to have a part of this. So he started to get away from it, and then that's when they're like, all right,
Yeah.
We're not going to let you, you talk anymore. Talk about, you look at his lyrics from his solo project, and man, that's some good stuff. Especially the song "Working Class Hero." He talks about how they numb you with TV and religion and just keep you. And I'm not bashing religion. I just mean the mainstream, the big churches, the churches that brainwash people. I believe in God myself, so not bashing religious beliefs. But I'm just saying, in that song, it talks about how they just keep you, afraid and just dumbed down, and just like today, he called it out back then. So I think you're absolutely right. I think he was trying to get away from all that.
Yeah, they try to keep everybody in fear because, like you said, we live on a certain vibrational level, and when they keep us in constant fear like that, it's not going to allow us to grow as a human being, you know what I'm saying, as far as opening up our conscious, our third eye, and evolving as a human being. So suppressing us with all these fears and war and music and everything else that goes with it, it keeps people down. You know what I'm saying? It keeps everybody in constant fear, and it keeps their vibrational level at a certain level. For instance, you're a musician too. If I'm recording in the studio and I yell in the mic, I'm like, it's going to peak. You know what I'm saying? It's going to clip. It's going to cut off. A lot of frequencies are going to get cut off. But if we talk really low and we're calm and we're really peaceful, you can see that those levels are going to be in tune. They're not going to be clipped off at all. All those frequencies are going to be in pocket. You know what I'm saying? And that's how that's the way I see they're using those same tactics on us. They keep us in constant fear and try to keep us from not loving each other. You know what I'm saying? So, like you say, when you're in constant fear, you're going out of whack, and those frequencies are going out of the boundaries. They get cut off. So we can't see what we're normally supposed to be seeing. I'm not saying that, what we see right now with our visual, with our eyes and stuff, and this reality. I think we could possibly even see more than what we normally see now. I just think that they're suppressing us from doing that. That's why you see some certain people see ghosts or certain things. It's because they're tuned in slightly over to the channel. You know what I'm saying?
It's like a radio.
They can't. Like a radio frequency. They can't get in the channel all the way through, but it's there. It's fuzzy. That's kind of similar to how we're living. We're not able to tune in to another channel. We're basically stuck on this radio station.
Hey, DJ Noriega, people in the chat room were wondering if you could, if you want to, it's up to you, but if you could give out your email address.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's DJ Noriega at AOL.com. That's DJ Noriega at AOL.com.
Okay, awesome. I'll put it in there for him because someone said that he just wants to send you some links, I guess. But yeah, that's a good point, keeping people in constant fear. And actually, a lot of people. Jeff pointed this out. Who I work with, Jeffrey Grubb, who I know you listen to Antimatter Radio on. But he pointed out in a video that even people in the truth movement, or whatever you want to call it, the conspiracy movement, they're in a constant state of fear too, and they need to realize that they're, when you're just totally in fear, totally panicky, you're not thinking logically, and you're just. You really sometimes you got to get down to that base level and just look at things from a logical, rational perspective. And being in a constant state of fear is exactly how they control people. So that's a huge, huge point you brought up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of that stuff too. You could who talks really good in depth on that? It's David Icke. I don't know if you ever heard of David Icke. I'm sure you have. A lot of people have, especially in the conspiracy movement. David Icke talks in really good depth on that as far as vibrational levels and them keeping us in constant fear. But remember how you were telling me that when they were doing these rituals, they would take a younger, a child, because he wasn't polluted like the way we would be. You know what I'm saying? We're polluted with, junk food and whatever it is, that we eat, and, some people do drugs and pollutes people. So when they make these certain sacrifices, they choose a child because a child is pure. And they would get these kids at a certain level of fear, and that's when they would do their ritual or, slit their throat because their blood would turn color. You know what I'm saying? And, that's, some of the same tactics that they use on, constant fear and, it's just, like, it's crazy. Like what I said before, what was I calling that? Oh, negative demonic frequency. Yeah, there you go.
No, I believe in that. Yeah, they can use frequencies to. I mean that's been proven. Frequencies can have they can affect your consciousness. David Icke, I do like a lot. I just have to say this. I do like a lot of David Icke's stuff, and to be honest, the first book I ever read that really kind of jump-started me getting into this information was Children of the Matrix. But I don't know. I still just have kind of mixed feelings on him. I interviewed Chris White, who's going to do a big thing on David Icke, and I guess David Icke back used to be into like a lot of just kind of weird stuff, channeling, and but I don't know. I'm not.
I think he was just trying to find himself. Cause remember when he first started coming out, he started saying he was, Jesus or the Son of God, was reborn. You know what I'm saying? And I think he just didn't know what to do with his experiences that he was having, with the paranormal or the spiritual world and stuff like that. So I think you could see that when you could see that with him today, that he totally shifted from when he first started. When he first started, he was like making these certain comments, and I'm the Son of God and da. But he don't say that no more. You know what I'm saying? You could totally tell that he changed, not just changed because he had to, but because he grew as a person. He started reading more, looking more into depth, and he's like, okay, maybe I'm not the Son of God. Maybe I was just tripping, But yeah, a lot of the stuff that he says could be far-fetched, but he still has a lot of good information there, and it is a good eye-opener for people. He does put out a lot of good information that's gonna, open a lot of people's eyes. So I'm not gonna bash him on that at all.
Yeah, no, and trust me, I never try to bash people, but I will, I will question people's ideas and things like that. I'm not trying to bash David Icke personally, and I would like to like the guy. I don't know. I just really gotta. I'm 50-50 on David Icke at this point, but no, I mean, I would be totally lying if I said he didn't have an influence on me, if he didn't really jumpstart this. But no, and he does make a lot of good points. He talks about how, when they do, you're talking about with the child, and when the Satanists, the Illuminati do these satanic rituals, it really is about getting the energy source from the victim, and you can see that with so many different things. Jeff and I had a past show where we were talking about alien abduction. This is way off from the topic we originally started, but let me just say this real quick, because it does tie in actually with music and everything. And but alien abduction, we think a lot of times it's just a ritual just to get, we talk about dark ecstasy, the dark ecstatic energy. They're basically parasites and trying to create as much fear and pain and everything. And through music and tying it into music, they can create all that negative energy and this, just being parasites. Because the Satanists in their own writings, they talk about that, how they thrive off the life. They're basically kind of like vampires in the sense they literally they choose specific victims, like a young child or an animal or what. They're sick, disgusting, satanic people, but they, like Aleister Crowley specifically says that it's all about feeding off of this energy force. That's what they're all about.
Yeah, and I really think they're living, walking vampires. Not in the sense that they got fangs or nothing, but in the sense that they're feeding off our fear. They're sucking the life force out of us, and that's I think that's going on with a lot of people in power. They're sucking the life force out of us, even with music and with television and just everything. It's keeping us in constant fear, and they, like you said, they live off that fear. They feed off of that. That's what gives them more energy to do whatever it is that they do. But that's what they're doing. They're feeding off our fear.
Yeah, I believe it, because you look even like in the Matrix, everyone's tied in, and they're using people as this resource. You can totally see that comparison in everyday life. So just lowering fear, I think, is essential to think rationally. So we're kind of getting to near the end of the show, DJ Noriega. Let me put out your information. I want to make sure people get this. Okay, so DJNoriega.com, DJ Noriega. That's N as in Nancy, O-R-I-G-E-A. Sorry, N-O-R-I-E-G-A. DJNoriega.com. Make sure you check that out. It has some good stuff on there. And then you said your YouTube channel is youtube.com/Noriega, E-N-T. That's correct?
Yes.
E-N-T, yep. And my website's blackhelicopterradio.com. Make sure you check out antimatterradio.com. Yeah, any other things you want to just throw in there? We have around 3 minutes left.
Let's see. I'm good. I just want to say thank you for having me on the show, and for all your listeners who are listening out there, thanks for taking the time to listen to me and Ed, speak our minds on certain topics. And sorry if I wasn't clear enough for you guys, or I don't have all the specific information or dates or stuff like that, but the stuff is there. You know what I'm saying? You just have to do your own research and come to your own conclusions. But believe me, that it's there. You know what I'm saying? Once you get in there, and it's all downhill from there. I mean, you're literally going to go down the rabbit hole once you open your eyes and start reading and doing your own research. Believe me, you're going to go down the rabbit hole, and it's going to open up a whole new world for you. So I recommend that you guys take your time and don't get misled by some of the things that you are going to see that are online or on YouTube, because some of that information that talks about the Illuminati or the music industry still might not be the right information. You know what I'm saying? There's certain agents within these YouTubes and online channels and stuff like that. They infiltrate all that stuff. So you got to be careful that you're not going to the wrong channel or whatever it is. So just be careful when you're looking up certain information, and you guys get the right information. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, check out that Industry Exposed. That's a good start. I've been really impressed with that.
I'm sorry, I should
Industry Exposed.
Yeah, the industryexposed.com.
Yep.
The name Bill. His name is Bill. What's up, Bill? Hopefully you're listening out there. Sorry, I didn't put enough more information on certain topics and stuff like that, but the website is the Industry Exposed, and you go on YouTube.com /the Industry Exposed, and he's got a great series on there, and hopefully we can continue to keep making more vids. He's the one that makes the vids. I just submit my music for him to put in the background and stuff, but he's doing an excellent job, and keep up the good work, man. Hopefully to see more, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's awesome stuff. All right, well, thank you, DJ Noriega. I'm gonna play us out with with a track. This went really well. This was an awesome interview. You had great information. This is really good. So I really appreciate you coming on the show. I'll definitely be sure to keep in touch with you via YouTube or I have your email, and the listeners have your email. So yeah, man, thanks a lot for doing this.
Yeah, anytime, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you have a good night.
All right, you too. Bye.
Okay, I thought I had the dark one in there. I don't know why, if there's a glitch. But anyways, there's a good chunk of them. But I mean, people, you can hear. I mean, I was checking out the Industry Exposed videos before we started, and I mean, those are your tracks, correct?
Yeah, those are my tracks. I probably didn't start working with them into the series probably until like, I don't know, probably part 50 something, or probably in this. I don't know what part he's in right now. But yeah, I didn't start working with him probably until the middle of his series, because I started watching the series from the beginning when I first got into it, and you know, I liked what he did and how he, you know, put everything together and kind of showed you, you know, all the hidden symbols, and it's like, okay, everything made sense. And so I've been watching the series for quite a while, and I kind of was like, hey man, you know, I want to get involved and kind of do my own part, you know, with, you know, helping them somehow. And got in contact with them, and he was like, yeah, man, shoot me some beats, and, you know, we'll post them up and stuff. So I've been working with him ever since, and it's been amazing, you know, to see some of the great stuff that he's put out, and for him to use my music, it's wonderful. So thank you, Bill. If you're out there listening, I appreciate for all the work you've done, man. You got a lot of good spirit. You got a good spirit, man. So keep up the good work.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. So, you know, there's a lot of people out there, you know, who, you know, kind of bash some of the stuff that we do, but I mean, don't worry about them. Just keep doing what you're doing, and I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully we can wake up some more people with some of these videos and interviews that we're doing. So.
Well, they bash it because they know they listen to all of this mainstream garbage, and they don't like the fact that we're pointing out that it's totally brainwashing them. You know.
Oh yeah,
it offends them.
Yeah, it throws them out there. You know, kind of like, oh, hold on. That's not true. Well, hold on, you're going off the deep end with that. You know, they kind of like throw them out of their comfort zone. You know, they get comfortable with what they're listening to, and as soon as you throw them a little subliminal message to them and tell you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Ed Walker, and you're listening to Black Helicopter Radio on the Antimatter Zone Radio Network. The websites are blogtalkradio.com/antimatterzone. My website is blackhelicopterradio.com. On this network, I also share this network with Jeffrey Grupp of antimatterradio.com and Jacob of the Next Step Radio program from infowarts.com, infowarts.com. And I will be doing a show for the next 90 minutes. Today's show is going to be pretty good. We're going to be hitting on something I actually haven't done a show specifically on, so that in itself I'm excited to do, this subject. And I'm actually going to be interviewing DJ Noriega of djnoriega.com. That's DJ, N as in Nancy, ORIEGA.com. And DJ Noriega is a DJ / producer and sound engineer. He actually made the music for the Industry Exposed, which is an internet series, theindustryexposed.com, which is one of the best things exposing the Illuminati I've seen online, and I really mean that. I've just seen stuff in there that just absolutely blows my mind. I have a clip actually from something they did, which you'll see is absolutely mind-blowing. We're going to be talking about the mainstream media and just the fact that it's completely controlled by the secret government and the Illuminati social engineers, and it's literally a weapon targeting people's souls. I mean that literally. I don't say that to sound sensational. And yeah, we're going to be talking with DJ Noriega. Actually, it looks like I have him on the line. So let me just first make sure I can get you on. Let's see, DJ Noriega, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here. How you doing?
Good.
Oh,
Thanks for joining me.
Good. How you doing?
Yeah, it's always a little sketchy doing, Blog Talk Radio. This is total do-it-yourself radio, so always got to make sure things are working out okay. So first, let me just ask, just talk about yourself, talk about how you got into music, talk about any, things that you think are important, regarding to your works. So yeah, just start from there, I guess.
All right. For people that don't know who I am, my name is DJ Noriega. I live in Paris, California. That's Southern California. I'm a DJ, producer, / engineer. I've been DJing for, I would say, since I was about 14, 15 years old. I've been DJing. Things are changing, and in a sense, they're kind of changing for the worse. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to say, scare people, but you can kind of see the shift in of the way the music is going. You know what I'm saying? And the culture and the dressing. Everybody's changing their clothes. Everybody's looking like girls. You know what I'm saying? With the clothes that they're wearing.
You're right. Yeah.
But then we got to look at, okay, who's designing these clothes? You know what I'm saying? Who are the designer of these clothes, and what do they represent? Why are they putting out these specific clothes? Because they control all aspects of the music industry and basically the whole world, so they could put these type of trends into the population and see what happens. When people started, like when Kanye West, started doing or Puff Daddy started doing his little was it Mr. T kind of haircut, they kind of just, like a faux hawk kind of, that kind of style. When they started doing that, then you started seeing everybody doing it. You know what I'm saying? You walk out of the streets, you go to the mall, everybody's having these different type of styles of haircuts because they see that on TV and they hear, they see that on the music videos. So they think it's trendy and they follow that, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people just don't know how to be individuals and just kind of be themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, let me, before, I just want to get this at the start of the show, because since we're talking about music, let me actually play a clip. DJ Noriega sent me a bunch of his tracks, which were all really good, but what I did was I put like a bunch of them together, like I think 5 or 6 of the tracks he sent me, into short little segments. So it's kind of like a preview of a bunch of the stuff he did. I saved the one I liked the best. Yeah, I saved the one I liked. The one you did I thought was just absolutely epic was the dark. You just called it dark. You just had the kind of generic names. The kind of dark sounding one. It sounds like a movie soundtrack.
I just named it like that because it's just, usually the way I name my music is just through numbers. Like, beat 100 something or beat 1,000, whatever number that one song I did. So I try to, name it at least a little bit because usually the song won't have a name until we usually get an artist on the song and then, then we'll title it that way. But, yeah, but,
All right, here, let me, let's play it. It's pretty short. It's only like a little shorter than 3 minutes. So here.
Okay.
Here we go, guys. This is DJ Noriega. There's a bunch of different tracks. It's a wide variety. I purposely did like the different kind of styles that you do. So here we go.
Okay. Started producing around 21, at the age of 21. So I'm 29 now, but I've been doing it for that long, and I love making music, DJing, and doing that type of stuff. I'm also into conspiracy theories and ultimate truth seeker, and trying to do my research and look into all the hidden symbols and the hidden hand that controls the music industry and basically the world. So those are some of the things I like to put myself into, the music and, DJing and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, so, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, this is where we're at right now. You know, I'm glad I was able to hook up with you and link up and kind of get the show going with you. So I appreciate for you having me on.
Oh yeah, no, I found your stuff because you sent me a message actually promoting your videos, and at first I thought it was just a random, you know, people do that, they just send music and things randomly, but then I checked out your song and I was like, oh, okay, this, well, first off, I liked it, and then I went to your channel and I was like, oh man, this guy's not just your everyday, you know, average person in the hip hop. This guy's definitely a truth seeker, and so. And to be honest, I just need to say it straight up. I never was really in. I mean, I'm only recently in like the past year or so been actually listening to hip hop and rap and things like that because I was only exposed to the mainstream garbage that you hear on the radio and on MTV, the stuff that I absolutely despise, and so I just kind of assumed this is really ignorant of me. I should have known better. But I just kind of assumed all music, you know, all of it was kind of like that, just this kind of mind-numbing, despiritualizing, you know, garbage, this weapon of the Illuminati. But I heard Gemini of Conspirituality. He's man, I don't know if you've heard him or not, but he's absolutely amazing, I think. And then I heard your stuff, and then I saw that you were associated with the Industry Exposed.
Yes.
And I mean, I should have known because I've been playing in punk rock bands since I was like 15 years old. And punk rock and hip hop are actually more similar than a lot of people would think, I think, because I know the music, you're probably thinking, what? It sounds different, obviously, but the overall, the anti-establishment.
The culture. It's the culture, you know.
Yeah, the culture.
Yeah, it's the culture, you
yeah,
know,
so,
the fashion and, you know, the trendsetters and stuff like that. I mean, you can see that right now with people wearing skinny jeans, you know, with hip-hoppers. You know, a lot of the punk rock people were wearing tight pants too, but they weren't calling them skinny jeans at the time. I don't know what, you know, people just call them tight pants, you know. But, you know, now they call them skinny jeans and stuff, but you can see the similarities, you know, with the punk rock and the hip-hop culture, and they're kind of combining that together right now with the rock and hip-hop as a fusion together. So,
see, I was a diehard punk rocker, metalhead. So I mean, I just didn't. The only thing is I didn't find the right hip hop till recently. I seriously thought it was just all like that. But now that I found it, man, I mean, I know. I mean, it's the same
there's
type of anti-establishment.
There's a lot of great underground artists out there. You know, especially a lot of people that I've recently got in contact with that I never heard of. You know, because when I first started DJing and actually just growing up, you know, listening to music and stuff like that, I mean, I listened to all kinds of stuff, but I wasn't too deep into the underground scene. I was just, okay, you know, I'm bumping Snoop Dogg and Too Short and all these other West Coast artists, and that's what I grew up on. You know, my older brothers, that's what they listened to, and that's what was put on to me. So growing up and DJing, that's all the records I would buy was just, you know, hip-hop, R&B, the club stuff. It's basically everything top 40, you know, everything that you would hear on the radio and you would hear at the clubs, that's the type of stuff I would buy at the record stores. But you can see the change in that now because even in my area, there's no more record stores, you know. Like, they're becoming obsolete. Everything's like MP3s online, you know, Serato, you know, you get all these whack-ass DJs pretending to be DJs, you know, who never carried crates in their whole life, carried records, carrying equipment, you know, and they come into the scene and just carrying a backpack and two records and, you know, think they're DJs. I'm not saying they're not good at all. I'm just saying compared to the old school cats, you know, you have to put in work, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of these cats don't know a lot of the true roots of DJing, you know, and where they come from and how much work goes into, you know, carrying your stuff here, unloading, loading, and now you can just walk around with the backpack and go walk into a club and you know, call yourself a DJ and, you know, play off your iTunes or whatnot. So it's kind of a shame, though. But that's just the way technology is moving and everything's shifting. So I kind of have to adapt to it in a sense because I have that Serato myself. It just kind of sits here. The only time I ever use it is in the studio. I mean, I probably use it maybe a few times when I do DJ gigs, but I mean, I'm still not familiar with that. I've had that thing for probably about 2 years now, and you know, I still love taking my records with me. You know, I got all my records and stuff like that, but I still like that feel of going through the crates, you know what I'm saying? Pulling out a record, looking at it, searching for the stuff instead of clicking on your computer, you know, type in the search button and look for your song that you want. It's not the same compared to just having that piece of vinyl in your hands and like, okay, you know, by the end of the night your fingers are all black and stuff from just digging to the crates and stuff like that. So, you know, you can see the difference. Yeah.
No, that's a good point because I mean, I haven't mentioned it that much on the show actually, but I record the music on my for the intros, like what we heard. I do cover songs, but I have a few originals too. But it's even rock music is doing that, man. It's getting so overproduced. It's I really like the raw, just plugging in a guitar, amp, drums, bass. I love that raw, just no, it doesn't have to be overproduced. A lot of the drums, triggered drum sets, which is basically like which is cool. I mean, if people are into that, whatever. I'm just not. I like the really raw. It's which is like the equivalent to what you're saying of actually having the records and everything. With DJing, the same kind of
exactly.
idea.
I mean, well, even too with producing. I mean, you got a lot of new producers out there. I'm not knocking any producers or any DJs that are out there. I mean, I respect all of them for what they do. They got a lot of talent. But there's a lot of even new producers are coming out that, they just get a couple of things and a couple of software programs and. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's a lot of, people that just, kind of get into the scene because it's kind of trendy in a sense. They see it on TV. I mean, it's everywhere. DJing, becoming a rapper. It's on Sprite commercials. I mean, you got Drake and all these different people who are influencing all these different, these younger kids, into the culture in a sense. But I don't know. It's just